Recording the meeting?
Is being recorded.
Whoops. I thought everybody knew. I can unrecord it. Do you have any problems with this, Amanda?
No, it's just I'm cooking dinner while we're doing this.
No problem. Okay. Everybody else understands we're recording at the moment, so
That's fine.
I can stop it and start it again, maybe. Oh, well, we can.
That's fine.
Okay. Whoops. I don't know who that is.
Long distance.
Spam. Spam call.
These are conservatives. They're robocalls.
Trying to disrupt our meeting here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's everybody introduce ourselves. I'm Eric Stark. I'm CEO of the Green Party in Scarborough Southwest, Green Party of Canada, that is. Amanda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Amanda Kane. I'm the federal candidate for the last two elections in Scarborough Southwest. Hopefully we'll be able to put together a strong campaign provincially and really support, some of the disadvantaged folks, or I don't want to say disadvantaged, but the lower income folks
who have many issues to deal with, and
yes,
Ashley is going to.
They really don't have anybody standing up for them or their issues. That's myself included. I'm not going to lie. So, I think the Ontario Greens have been making great strides in, working with different communities, but I think in our community, that's probably our best bet in terms of provincial issues, because there really are so many.
Okay, Mark, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's nice to meet you. So, as I said, my name's Mark, and so I'm a relatively new member to the Green Party of Ontario. I have marked my X against the Green Party candidates the last couple elections, but it's only the last year that I kind of decided to become more engaged or involved with the party itself. And people ask me why, and I feel a certain amount of frustration with the three major parties that have been running the province for the last 30 plus years, and feel like they keep offering the same solutions. Housing, I think, is probably the most obvious example for me, in the sense that 35 years ago, when I started working in the city of Hamilton, my first job was as a policy analyst in working in the field of affordable housing. And the provincial policy statement at that time was get rid of regulations, speed up the development approval process, let the private sector build, etc., right? And I feel like we're still there 35 years in, and provincially, the Conservative and the Liberal Party consistently offered that as the simple solution. If only the private sector would build, but regional planning commissioners of Ontario have done a good study, shown that there's way more units approved that have not been built yet. So there's tons of housing to be built. Approval process is done. It's just a matter of getting the money and putting a shovel in the ground. So there's a lot of other things, and the complete absence of government involvement in regulating and managing and building housing, which I think, as you all know, is very much a big part of the platform of the Green Party of Ontario, is to move forward in a meaningful way to push the market towards building what we actually need, as opposed to what the private sector thinks we need. So anyway, but there's lots of other issues, as Amanda already said, that are of interest to me and I think are important, but relevant to today's conversation.
Yeah, this meeting is going to focus on one particular issue, these substandard conditions at one of the modular housing unit projects at Macey Avenue. And okay, Charles, do you want to do a quick intro?
Sure. Charles Eaton Jones, usually go by the name of Charlie. So
I have Charles up, but that's Charlie is good. So I'm a member of Green Party Canada, Green Party of Ontario. Haven't been very active with Ontario recently. Like I'm out in Scarborough Gilway, so we don't have an EDA, a CA. We got nothing. We have no candidates. We have nothing going on. So basically, I've been involved with the Green Party of Canada for the last year and a half. Friend of mine, after the Anime Paul fiasco, what's the Green Party stand for other than the environment? I don't know. I'm going to find out. And so I started getting involved. So I ended up, they've got their Constitutional Renewal Commission, which I volunteered for. So I've been on that for the last year and a half. As a result of that, I ended up on the Special General Meeting Oversight Committee. So we just had the vote back in November. And as a result of that, I've also ended up on the PDPC, which is the proposal development policy or proposal development. So I'm in all that sort of governance stuff. So again, so that's what I do because there's nothing going on in terms of anything on the ground here. There's no people. So anyway, there you go.
Well, when I was working with Tara in the last election, we went around and got signatures, and a lot of people who signed were interested in starting a EDA. So it's really about just connecting with them. Your writing is going to change because it's merged with the Rouge.
Right.
Yeah. So that's gonna be very interesting. But there are interested parties.
Yeah, and I did try and reach out a couple of times over the last few years. I've met people at gatherings and people that were going to run, they were going to do this. I gave my name, gave my contact, and nobody ever followed up. So again, I've been sort of left out on my own. But again, I guess I'm in this because I was on the clusters, Scarborough Durham cluster thing that Doug Anderson was his initiative. So I was on that on Sunday, and I guess Eric saw me there and reached out, and so here I am now. So.
Right.
Yeah, and I know when I was on another thing, ADA empowerment recently, and we met the person, the Latvian Green Party lady came in, and I met Sheena Sharp there, and so then when I campaigned with her when she was running for the municipal in Don Valley West, right? So again, I'm trying to get out and support local people, but I just have to find them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, you're muted, Eric. You're on mute, Eric.
Yeah, my dogs bark and scratch, so I have to mute sometimes. Okay, so let's focus on the main issue we want to talk about today. And so should I call you Ashley or Diana? Which name do you prefer?
No, my name is Diana. I don't know why it says Ashley, but yeah.
Okay,
Hi,
well,
I'm Diana.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Diana. Oh, well,
Mm-hmm.
before I should tell you, yeah, some history. The project at 11 Macey began. We were informed about it in June of 2020, and it was basically a done deal. Neighbors didn't have any say or anything, and I found out later that Doug Ford had and his MZO minister, had visited the Modular Housing factory back in February of that year. So it was all planned out ahead of time. Anyways, be that as may, it got built, and I think residents started.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, no problem. And then all the politicians came and said there was ribbon cutting. Like they gave a bit of a speech. Everybody gave a speech. John Tory, Gary Crawford, Brad Bradford, Anna Bilo, and then Wendy and me, who were we had formed a neighborhood association, the West Oak Ridge Neighborhood Association. So, and Wendy did a whole bunch of, she lives in the big condo across the street and got all sorts of people to donate this and that, clothing and all sorts of things that they felt would be needed by the residents. And so everything was looking good. But over the years, I guess I hear different complaints from different people about this and that and the other thing. And so that's what I'm hoping Diana will fill us in on some of the issues that people are facing at the moment. Diana, you're.
Hi. Okay, so my brother Robert is probably one of the first tenants to move in. He has a traumatic brain injury and he's impaired. He has 30% of his brain has been removed, so he can't live on his own. Like, ideally, that building was supposed to like have workers that would help them live normal, like try to live normal again, and like help them with like laundry, getting dressed, and bathing and feeding them. And they absolutely like don't do anything they're supposed to do. They don't have no programs for them. They they were on a meal plan where they got 3 meals a day. Now they only get 1 meal a day. They elevators don't work for like a month, 2 months at a time. Um, None of their doors lock properly. Like you can just hip check the door and anybody's door is open.
Gosh.
There's like robberies that happen every day in there. Honestly, the dogs in the Humane Society live better. Like, it's sad to say, than these guys. They just throw a whole bunch of drug addicts, mental health, and disabled people in a building, and it's like fend for yourself kind of thing.
Yeah, they were supposed to have wraparound support teams.
It's not. They have workers that from TG. I think it's a TNG. They come in and basically everybody's like now drug addicts that aren't drug addicts in there that weren't before are like full blown drug addicts now. And like, um, they have TNG workers that sit in the staff room or come around and check and give them kits to get high, like, to use, which is like insane to me. Um, it's just total neglect, and like a lot of the staff just don't care and they don't like give them the supports they need. Like my brother lives in a filthy house, like it's disgusting. They don't do wellness checks. They can't cook in a stove. They don't even have a stove. Like, so they couldn't even cook if they wanted to. They have burners that don't even go high enough to cook. Take you an hour to boil water.
You're talking about in the units, the stoves aren't working, or?
There's no ovens. They have 2 burners that aren't supposed to get really hot for a
Oh,
safety concern, because a lot
right.
of these people can't cook on their own or might forget to leave the burners on and stuff, which was
Right.
like the whole reason they did the meal program, you know?
Right. I'm guilty of that too. When I came to visit you, I had left my stove on, and when I came home, everything was smoking.
Yeah. But a lot of people that have like mental illness or traumatic brain injuries, things like that, they do forget to turn off. So I get the whole safety idea, and I do, but you can't take away programs that you have or you sign leases to that you promise that they're going to have supportive help, and you just, oh, it's okay, you get 1 meal a day, that's all you can afford. You volunteer. I've volunteered there many times, like cutting hair, just giving them like just to feel better about themselves. There's some guys in there that haven't even showered, like washed their hair in a year. Like I've went and washed their hair and stuff, like because they don't have that personal hygiene and they don't understand how to. Like,
And well, the mental health people are, CODA is the agency, right? But I hear that they're not always the right people to deal with all the various people there.
no, they don't. They're terrible. You have like a good maybe 3 staff that actually do care and try, but they're so exhausted. And then when you do have the good staff that end up coming in and making a change, they fire them or they lay them off or like, and then you have like the one girl, Denise, she's like new, maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, but she's she's very ignorant to them. Like she calls
Yeah.
them like drug
Dude,
addicts
well,
and
try
stuff,
not to, try not to name names. We don't
Oh,
want to get
sorry,
sued.
but I didn't know, but
Yeah. All right. So obviously there's a lot to be desired. A lot of
Mhm. They don't keep it up. They don't keep it clean. They've had washer and dryers not work for like 2 months in there. They don't
and
maintain the building. They don't fix anything. They were beautiful when they first moved in. They were really nice, of course. But if you
yeah,
go into every unit there, you'll see the disgust. It's disgusting. The shame.
yeah, it's sad. So well, the meal program is one example where they cut back. What about security? They were supposed to have security guards there, but there's still break-ins. So what's going on?
So they did for a long time have a security guard that sat on the floor. Like he would sit in a chair and they didn't even do anything. Like people can hip check the door, rob them. Like my brother's injuries are from a break and enter. So my brother was attacked not at that building, but caused life-threatening injuries from a home invasion. And he has severe trauma from that. And he's not even safe in his own unit because anybody can just hip check him. They rob him. Like I buy him food, they steal it. His clothes, they steal it because they just come in whenever they want.
Yeah, well, that's just mind-boggling that
Mhm,
this can go on and nobody's doing anything, and it's really upsetting.
I'm
mhm.
wondering if there's bylaw violations that we could,
A lot, there's a lot.
right?
The
They've hired,
elevator doesn't even close all the way. So it has like a gap in the elevator. It's been like that for 6 months. You can fit your hand in it.
that's horrendous.
Yeah. So can I
So we
help me
visited.
out?
Oh, sorry, Mark. We
Oh,
visited there
I was
last
just
week. Go ahead.
pardon? Oh, I was just going to ask Diana. Thank you. Can you help me understand who actually has ownership and responsibility for the facility or the housing? Sorry, like is it owned
So
by the city of Toronto or is it the province or a not-for-profit?
I'm not too sure on that. I just know that it's government funded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um, I was told that it was government funded, that they get grants and they get this and they get that, but
Right. And
it is
sorry,
a city,
I'm
and
not familiar with who Coda is. You mentioned it, Erica.
yeah, they're the TNG, the neighborhood group is the landlord. That was contracted by the city
Oh,
to
okay.
run the place, and
To be
Coda
property
are the
manager, right? Okay.
Coda are the
and
mental
it's all rent subsidy
support.
too. It's everybody's on rent
Yeah.
subsidy there.
But they didn't put in place an organization to actually provide caseworkers for all the residents.
That's Coda.
They have they have
That is Coda.
caseworkers. They have
Oh,
caseworkers that
and this
don't,
is the group that
yeah.
doesn't do anything. Sorry. Thank you. No, I just wanted to make sure I understood.
No, that's
Yeah. Okay.
they're just lacking the actual work that needs to be done with them. They're
Yeah.
not there are a few workers that are really good and there's
Yeah.
some that just aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Are they receiving, I know people who are on disability are eligible for, well, some people are eligible for, public, support workers, personal support workers, that
Well,
to do the cleaning and
so they
that.
say they have them. So
Mhm.
my brother is eligible for that and he doesn't get it. They had one lady that was coming about every week and she was really good and they let her go.
Wow.
So
Who
like I
let her?
said, when they get those good workers that actually do want to help, they end up letting them go.
Who's letting who go? Like,
Yeah.
that's supposed to be another government agency that handles PSWs, right?
Because CODA says they hire them, so they get the funding for it from, I guess, maybe disability or whatever. Because when you try to get private in, they say, "Oh, we have our own we have our own PSWs that do this. We have our own this person that does this."
So
Yeah.
CODA isn't replacing the PSW, or
No, they'll say like when we call like for my brother to have his personal support and help him, like the CODA says, "Oh well, we'll get them. We have them. We'll hire them." Like, so
and how long have you been waiting?
over a year for
Oh,
Robert to have an actual proper PSW. He maybe sees one once every month, if that, and he should have it 3-4 times a week.
Right.
wow. Okay, so anyways, we visited there on December 31st with a person named Justice, who's a advocate for homeless people, and he came with his camera, and he first he photographed. I mean, he was filming one of the residents who I came with, and then another one who talked about certain programs that CODA used to have, but they canceled them. Which, I mean, he liked those programs, but they were canceled. I don't know if CODA has some issues. I guess the government's cutting funding, or what the story is. And so anyways, we go in, and they don't want to let us in. They say, "Oh, wait, we gotta call our manager. Just wait here." And so we waited for a while, and then we got we didn't want to wait anymore, and then we just went in, and we visited one of the residents, and it's just horrendous what we see in there. It's I mean, there's a mold issue as well, that isn't being dealt with properly. There's, as you say, the door lock doesn't work at all. They have no security, basically. Get robbed all the time. And there's, I mean, some of these residents have mental health issues, and they don't know how to take care of themselves properly, and they don't. Sometimes they get into rages, and
Yeah.
the drywall gets all kicked in and whatever. I mean, it's so sad situation. So then we came back out again, and then we saw Diana in the hallways, and talked to her a while, and I was very impressed, and that's why I invited her here with what she had to say. And you say you said something about that struck me about feels like people are just warehousing the residents here, and they're just sort of allowing them to deteriorate, and well, I won't go into it. So anyways, but our camera person then got people's attention, and I got a visit 2 days later from the CEO of and the manager of TNG, and we had a bit of a discussion, very brief, because I'm not the expert, and the camera person contacted one of the TNG people, and he's going to have an interview with them off camera in next week, I believe. And I think he talked to you, Diana, today. Well, how did that discussion go?
We actually are meeting in the morning.
Right. Oh, so
We were supposed to meet today, but and then my husband's really sick, so I just said for him to come over tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right. So I guess he wants to make sure he gets his facts straight before he talks to the TNG person. And
Something needs to be done. Something, I think, like, if maybe people actually seen, they would stop and help. Like, you know, there's no need for them to live like this. There really isn't. It's a shame. It's like degrading. Like, they're happy that they have their own place and stuff, but and then, like, for instance, I know a guy that's um he was born like fetal alcohol syndrome, so he doesn't do drugs. He's never done drugs, and every day he's waking up at 4 in the morning to people screaming and fighting, and like he's scared to open his door. He's scared to even go home, and like that's not a way to live. Like, you know, there's lots of different people with different stories in that building, and it's sad. Some of them, yeah, don't have any mental health, no drug addiction, just disabilities, and they're stuck and they have no other way. Like, they don't even want to live there. Like, we've had people kill themselves in that building because, like, they're not getting the help they need. We've had 3 people kill themselves.
yeah, I don't know if it's 3 or even more. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm not talking about overdoses. I'm talking about actual,
Okay.
like,
Suicides.
there was like some people that hung themselves and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, comments? Anybody?
Just a couple of quick questions. And so I missed some of these acronyms. So what CODA? What is that again?
That's the organization that's supposed to deal with people's mental health issues.
And what's the actual name? Any idea?
Well, COTA, and I can't remember what it's COTA something. I can't remember, wellness or something like that.
They promise, yeah, they promise to like give people independent living with like supportive housing. That's like basically what they're supportive housing.
Okay, and what was the other something TMG, TNG?
TNG, the neighborhood group.
Or what is it?
The neighborhood group. That's the landlord.
What is that one stand for?
The neighborhood group. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, but so I don't. Okay, so I'm a lawyer. Okay, so I already searched. So the property is owned by the city of Toronto.
Right.
Okay, so that's who owns the property. But now we have all these other parties, right? So we have CODA, we have TMG, and all these. So who are all these people? What is the real? I always look for what's.
Well, you can look it up here. CODA Health. It's I just Googled it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do mental health services, acquired brain injury services, developmental services.
Yeah.
Okay, so COTA Health.
Yeah, COTA. Just Google COTA, then.
Okay. And so they're under contract with somebody?
Yeah, with the city.
With the city, yep.
Okay.
According to their website, anyway, yeah.
Okay. So they're a private organization. The city retains them, and then they're supposed to go out and do stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Well, I don't know what their constitution is or whatever, how they're.
Okay, but I got the website now. Okay. I've got the website. Okay, that's fine. And so this TMG, you said it's a local group.
NG, yeah. TNG.
And what does that stand for?
The neighborhood group.
Oh, TNG. Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, any more comments?
Well,
Mark?
this is partly a statement of the lack of funding for mental health, I think, and probably not knowing the details, but I mean, I would think there's a couple of courses of action that you might want to consider, Diana. If is a direct appeal to the board of directors for CODA. I mean, so they do have a, just looking at their website, I don't know, I don't recognize any of the names or the people, but it suggests it's a not-for-profit if they've got a board of directors. And this is a city-owned facility. And there's got to be a way to bring these issues, if you haven't already, and I apologize if you have, directly to the city through the local councillor, or potentially through the I'm not sure, so the equivalent of social services. I'm not sure what they're called now, but
Mark,
yeah,
I've already done that.
you've done that, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've let me bring it up here on my emails here.
I've also emailed and talked to
Got
directors and stuff like that, and the
nothing.
promises that are unkept.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, so
for the
here's
last year and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm going to try to share my screen so you can see the emails I sent. Share screen. Let's see here. Where is it? Emails. Chrome tab. This is it. Okay, get this mouse to work properly here, or try this. Yeah. There we go. Okay, do people see this?
Not yet.
No.
No, it says you have to double click to.
You're sharing screen.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, got it.
Okay. So here's my initial letter to everybody I could think of, including the mayor, the councillor, the neighboring councillor. It's now been a few years since 11 Macey was completed without proper, in brackets, without proper consultation with the neighborhood. It was supposed to be a model for housing the homeless in the city, i.e. for people with special needs, addictions, and various mental health issues. However, I have been continuously hearing complaints from the residents. These include black mold, long delays in maintenance requests, insecure door locks, and recurring break-ins. And while we are told the residents would be getting to have an option for a meal plan that included 3 healthy meals a day cooked on site, I now hear that has been dropped and replaced with a much less favorable Meals on Wheels plan. As many of the residents don't have the ability to advocate on their own behalf, I want to draw your attention to these complaints. Please let me know if they are justified or what I am hearing from them is accurate. And this is the reply I got. This is back in September. We have faced some challenges with both our sites, 11 Macey Avenue and 321 Dovercourt Road. The building's mandate is housing homeless individuals. Applicants come directly from the city access waiting list. Our partner agency, CODA, conducts the intake process, tenant selection, and provides support services. We are aware some tenants that have experienced mold in their units due to toilets overflowing or water leaks that may not have been reported to our maintenance department. I can assure you, as we become aware of any maintenance issues, we work diligently to fix any issue in a timely manner. I suspect that isn't true. You may have heard we had a leak in the laundry room, etc. Okay, we are working with our insurance company and anticipate the work to be completed within the next couple of weeks. You are correct. Some tenants experience break-ins in their units from other tenants. We are currently in the process of working with the City of Toronto housing consultants, engineers in obtaining funding to secure the doors. We have contacted our locksmith and a few contractors for advice. We have been able to secure a few doors with putting extra foam insulation as the doors are hollow.
What? Isn't that a building code violation?
Okay. I'm shocked that, they didn't think, this is modular housing for homeless people. They didn't think to have secure doors. I mean, it's absurd.
Mm-hmm.
We have also replaced a few doors. We have supported tenants to contact police if they experience any type of vandalism. We have brought forward a couple of cases that have been heard via the landlord-tenant board, and we take any type of vandalism theft seriously. The meal plan was free for service. Unfortunately, we are not getting the fees from the residents in order to continue with the program. All our tenants that were registered with the meal program were given 3 months notice of the program change, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Meals on Wheels program does cost a tenant $200 monthly for one meal a day. We are currently working with city staff in order to secure funding for this much needed service. We appreciate your advocacy on behalf of the tenants. And then I replied again about my comments, but I never got an answer back. Yeah.
So the person, Jenny,
yeah,
like her email, where is she writing from? Because I can't read the whatever you call that thing, the URL.
Yeah, the logo. Let me scroll back down. Director of Housing.
Jenny Lewis at what?
Are you talking about the email address?
Yeah. She's Director of Housing. She's got a phone number.
Yeah, there's the phone number. The email address is
Jenny Lewis
at tngcs.org.
So what's that?
Well, that's their I guess the neighborhood group community services, maybe that stands for. I'm not sure, something like that.
Yeah.
And the reason, again, the reason I'm harping on these things is because eventually, I mean, if you're going to ask somebody to do something, you got to know who they are and who they work for, right? So, I mean, that would be the first thing I'd be looking at is who is this? So it's TNGCS.
Yeah, I mean, if you look up TNG, you'll see them there, and you can, do all your. They have a whole board of directors and everything.
Okay, all right. Anyway, okay. So basically, again, because to me, it's okay. Who's responsible? Who's accountable? So you got the City of Toronto as a landlord. So Diana, your brother signed a lease or something to when he started when he went in there.
Yes, he's signed a lease.
Who's the lessor?
Coda. He signed the lease with Coda. TNG wasn't a part of it, but when he signed the lease.
So Coda is the lessor.
Okay. Yeah. TNG came in like 2 years ago, maybe, but it was originally just all Coda.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think TNG was there from the beginning, as I remember. I don't know how everything gets set up with signing leases or anything. I don't know the details.
You might be right. You might be right. I just know that like I applied through it with Coda, and Coda is the one that we signed the lease with. He originally lived at 321 and then on Dover Court, which was fine, and then transferred over there because the person that did the injuries to him actually lived a block away, so they did an emergency transfer.
Okay.
So, but Eric, you got nothing back from
No, but
the organization that actually owns the property, the city of Toronto, from any of the councillors.
well, I did get a message from here. I'll bring that one up too if I can find it.
Okay.
Um,
But you don't have to show it, but you did
but
get
it's basically a form letter that says, "Oh, we're very concerned about that too, and we're keeping an eye on it and that sort of thing." Right? That's all.
I like their comment about the landlord tenant board. Because they're the landlord. So okay.
Francesca.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what that's all about, or
Anyway,
you have to get into the weeds on if you had somebody to come and like a lawyer like you or somebody that can come and
go through everything and say, okay, this is what's going on. This is what the problem. Again, because at the end of the day, so I'm a lawyer. I look at this stuff and I say, okay, we have a problem. Does somebody owe a duty to somebody, right?
Mhm.
If I'm a tenant and I have a landlord, there are certain things that they have to do. If I've signed a lease, they owe me something, right? If they've promised me something, they owe me something. If they've breached all those promises, I have legal recourse. What is the recourse and against whom? So those are the things that I would be looking at. That's how I would be looking at this whole thing, right? I would look at it from simply a legal point of view. Is okay. How do you remedy this? What's the threat of legal action here? That's how I would look at this. Now, I don't do court work, so I wouldn't do it because I don't do court work. But if I was involved in this, I would be looking for somebody that does court work and say, okay, here, is this something that you can take on?
So who's gonna pay for that? A lawyer? I don't. Nobody there is.
Probably not. Exactly. Right. So somebody's gonna have to come up with some money to do it. And who knows? I mean, there's so I get all these emails from Eco Justice. I don't know if you get do you get those? Right.
Yeah, but they're mainly an environmental organization.
Absolutely. But this is an environmental issue.
Living
in a clean environment with good air, good water, and a place is an environmental issue, right?
I guess you could, broadly speaking,
it's about as fundamental as you can possibly get.
Well, I agree with that, but that I just don't know if
Anyway,
Eco-Justice is the right organization.
And I agree. I'm not suggesting that they are necessarily the right group, but I would certainly think that going to them and saying, here, this is what the problem is. We've done the investigation. This is what the problem is. Is there someone you can recommend? Is there an organization that would take this on? Because there's a whole bunch of people that are getting screwed royally, right? And are living in, in a complete, disaster. So, who do you know that can help?
The thing is, this is not an isolated incident. I'm sure it's
absolutely not. So now you start talking about a class action, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's some not-for-profits that do legal housing assistance.
Okay.
There's one in Scarborough. I'm just looking one up, and there's the East Toronto Community Legal Services.
Okay.
There's also an organization.
Sorry to interrupt. There's like 5 or 6 status Indigenous people that are in that building, which I'm sure like the Aboriginal Legal Services would love to jump on this.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, but I think that's the remedy. I mean, if you're going to get something done, writing letters to people that aren't going to respond isn't going to get anything done. All right, identifying what the problem is, getting all the facts together, and then going to the people that actually will take this and move it ahead legally is the way I would say you got to look at this thing.
Yeah, there's another organization called Acorn that deals with these sorts of issues, but I'm sure they have a lot on their plate, and who knows.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so anyway, so you guys have got my email, right? So so if anybody doesn't, does everybody have it? but Eric, you've got it. Does everybody else?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can share it. Okay.
I'll share it, yeah.
Okay. So like Amanda, you mentioned that you know somebody, I think Eric, you said the Acorn. So anybody that knows an organization, Diana, you had mentioned that there's some Indigenous people there. If you know an Indigenous organization that, it's fighting for, people, Indigenous people, for their rights and this and that, whatever, send me all the people that you're aware of, because again, and then I'll start looking into it and, see if I can find something that, some people that might be willing to help. Because again, to me, it's the only way to go. Everything else is a complete waste of time, my opinion. And I'm pretty opinionated, if you haven't noticed. But, again, if you're going to get it done, you got to go where you're going to get something done. And I think legal action, getting support from, organizations that provide legal services for people that are being screwed like this would be the people to approach and say, we need help. Can you help us? And if not, who can?
I have a meeting tomorrow with the executive director of Toronto Aboriginal
Okay.
Social Services. So she'll be able to give me a name of somebody in the legal field that can assist for sure.
Perfect. Okay, so if you share that with me, and and we can look at reaching out to that person and sort of talking about how to move this thing forward.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I appreciate that suggestion, Charles, and I really hope we can.
I have lots of videos too, like that I've taken over the years that I've saved, which will probably help with a lot of it.
Absolutely. Because, and again, I'm not a litigation person. When I was in law school, I had one of my profs ended up he moved out to West, and he did a lot of constitutional law work and this and that, whatever. He was really good at it, but a lot of it is evidence based, right? And you need all that evidence. You need the law, you need the facts, you got to show all that stuff and make the presentation. So the more that you can build and create that story and have it available, the more likely you are to succeed. But that's what you need.
Okay. And as I said, we have some, I'm sure the camera person will have a video coming out soon on his visit. And I'm sure that will ruffle some feathers as well.
Yeah. And sorry, Eric, to interrupt. And all again, so I keep saying Ashley, but it's Diana, so I get confused. But again, all the stories, the people, the various stories, the person in this unit had this problem, and that's their history. Your brother's situation, what it was, what actually happened there, and all that stuff. You take it, you build it together. It's presenting a legal case where you put it all together and you say, here, look, this is what's going on. This is what the relationship is. This is what they owe to us. This is what they promise us. This is what we're entitled to. Whatever the deal is, this is what we have. Build a case. That's what you're thinking about doing.
Yeah, I think you're right on that 100%. And it's about time somebody does something.
Yeah. It's the only option. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere.
Great. I think we're heading in the right direction. And any closing comments? Anybody else have anything to say? I think we're at the 1 hour mark at the moment.
I just wanted to personally thank all of you guys for giving Coda having this meeting for them and speaking for them, because a lot of them can't speak on their behalf and their lives matter, right? So
For sure.
I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're the one that brought it forward, right?
Yeah.
Eric,
Right.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. So,
right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, I think we'll close the recording and we'll start moving on this. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks,
And hopefully,
Eric.
hopefully we'll get maybe in a couple of weeks we'll get together, see what we've been able to put together.
Yeah. We're gonna follow up. We're gonna do a follow up for sure.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a wonderful evening.
Okay.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.